welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Maddie, and in today's video I have a special guest, my best friend Mercedes.
Hi.
You guys have probably seen her in a couple of my other videos, but today we're going to be doing a community college versus four-year college. I go to San Diego State University.
And I go to Shasta College.
So we kind of just asked you guys some questions on my Instagram for you guys to ask me some questions about a community college and a four-year and what the similarities and differences are and kind of our personal experiences going to them. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you guys can be notified every single time that I upload a new video. Without any further ado, let's get into today's video. So I have a bunch of questions written down that I have you guys asked me from Instagram, so I'm just going to be reading them off and then we're just going to go back and forth answering them. So first question is, how did we choose what college to go to?
So for me personally, I found out through my school that Shasta College is doing a program where you get your first year free as long as you have 12 units, and so for me that was kind of like a seller just so I didn't have to pay for the first semester or the first year.
So for me, I applied to a bunch of state schools. I knew that I wanted to go to a four-year college, so I applied to like 4 UCs in 4 states, and I didn't get into my 2 top schools, so I ended up going and touring San Diego State, and I kind of just decided that's what I liked, and they gave me really good financial help, so that's also kind of what helped me decide that I wanted to go to school there. But I knew I wanted to go to school in SoCal, and I knew that I wanted to go to a 4-year university. So the next question is, how are the academics and things as in like options and class size?
So for me personally, my class size goes up to 30. We don't really have any bigger classes. And for the options, we have general education. We actually have a lot of agriculture classes just because that's what is really big in our community. But we have all general education and helps people get their AA just to transfer, or if that's just what they want.
So for me, we actually have a lot of options just because we have so many different majors and minors that our school offers. So there's like a ton of different options, especially with electives. Like one of our electives that we offer is like salsa, or you can take surfing for credit. So there's a lot of different options for people who have like different interests. Also, like when it comes to options, if you need to take like a general ed class, there's usually like 5 or 6 options for that class. I know for me, I have to fulfill like a humanities course, and there's literally like over 30 or 40 classes that I can choose to fulfill that. So we do have a lot of different options. When it comes to class size though, just because I do go to a bigger school, you obviously are going to have larger classes. So it goes from anywhere, the smallest class to being like 25 to like 30 kids, to the largest being anywhere from 300 to 600 kids.
Which is crazy.
So you definitely do have more kids in your class than you do at a community college. So I think that's kind of one of the negatives that I think of, just because I don't do well in like large lecture halls when it comes to learning with a bunch of other people, just because you don't really get like that one-on-one with the professor, and you don't really feel like as connected when it comes to learning. So the next question is, are the classes impacted and hard to get into? So I think that at my school, especially with majors, different majors are actually really impacted, so it's kind of hard to get into this school. Classes are impacted as well, and when it comes to getting into them, sometimes the class that you actually need is full, so you can't actually take it until the following semester, and that's why a lot of kids aren't able to graduate in 4 years. I'm not saying it's not possible, but sometimes a lot of kids do have to do a 5th year just because classes aren't open and there are classes that they need to take. And it's also hard because sometimes one semester the class that you need is available and then it's not offered second semester, so then you have to repeat a whole year in order to actually take that class, if that makes sense. So I mean, it is pretty impacted and they kind of are hard to get into, so it's just kind of, you know, a lottery system whenever it comes to picking your classes.
I agree with that. At a JC, at mine personally, we have 30 kids to a class, and so everyone needs every class that you need because it's general education, unless you're doing agriculture like cooking, things like that, that it's basics, and everybody needs them. So at our school we have where if you go to school 1 year and you have at least 12 units, you can pick first, as well as high school students, they get to pick first, but after that, if you don't do it on time or you don't get to your classes, you won't get what you need, and so then you will probably have to repeat or wait longer to get it.
So the next question is, what is campus life like? And for me, just because I go to such a big school, there's so many like different types of people. There's a lot of foreign exchange students. We have a really nice or really large international program. So I know a lot of kids from like overseas come over to our school to do international programs.
Yeah, we actually have that too. And we have some kids that actually like come up to you, and those are the only people that are actually really friendly to you. And they come up to you and you go, I'm from Norway and this is why I'm here and this is what I'm pursuing, and that's actually really cool to have that like within a JC as well.
So the next question is, was it easy to find a place to live?
Well, for me, at a JC, you have lots of options. You can live in the dorms, you can get your own apartment. If you live close, you can live with your parents or a family member, which is really helpful. But even living an hour away, like it wasn't that hard to commute. But for me, it was pretty easy. When I actually got a chance to look for an apartment, I found one super close to school that was affordable, so that was good.
For me, when it came to living, most of the time, if you go to a four-year school, they require first-year students to live on campus. As soon as you enroll to go to that school or accept your acceptance, then you have to go through the process of choosing a dorm, what type of dorm you want to live in, and paying for that. You don't really have a choice first year. I know a lot of schools, just like my school, make it so the first 2 years you guys have to live on campus. I know for me, my second year, I actually went through the process of getting an apartment on campus, which was nice. So for us, when you go to a four-year, it's kind of already like set there for you. You don't actually really have to go out and search too much. Which is nice, so they kind of already do the hard part for you. So the next question is, college really different from high school?
Yes, it is definitely 100% different from high school. There's no drama.
I just think it's a different crowd. Like, everyone's actually there because they want to be there. Everyone's like paying to go to school. It's not like high school anymore where you're required to go. You actually pay for your education. So next question is, how is it when it comes to making friends? So for me, I went into college with such high expectations. I heard from other people who have been to college or four-year colleges that it's so easy to make friends just because everyone's in the same situation as you, and it definitely is. But for people who don't really go out of like the way to meet people, or it's not really in their like comfort zone to do that, I think it's really hard. And a lot of people told me that dorm life's great, you meet everyone on your floor, and I mean, in a sense that's true, but if you're not really the type to leave your door open and be welcoming to like let people in, then it's definitely going to be hard to make friends. And I didn't really meet my closest girlfriends until the second semester of college, so I think that I had a hard time with that. But it's kind of just up to you and how outgoing you are and how willing you are to like go out of your way to actually meet people.
At a JC, I feel like you make friends. Like, if you want to make friends, you will make friends. If you're social, you'll make friends. And especially being in a dorm, because you're forced to meet someone that you're rooming with and the people around you, and there's like the commons and everything, so I know like you can meet people that way. But for me personally, I felt like a lot of people that I met were like fake. Like, they wanted to be nice and friendly to you because they didn't have anybody, but in reality, you just add them on Snapchat and then you don't talk to them. So, like, making friends, you make acquaintances, but not really friends.
So the next question is, what is the price difference when it comes to classes and tuition?
Well, for me personally, at my school, I know Shasta College and Butte College does this, but your first year is free, and they just changed it to where now your second year is free as well. So for me, that is so much help with financially, because I don't get financial aid. And so I know when I go to a four-year to transfer on, that it will be so much help because I still won't be getting financial aid, and just saving $6,000, that's just like a huge help.
Well, for me, tuition is just $7,500 at San Diego State, but the area where they really get you is when it comes to like the overall cost, which is like living and your meal plan and everything. So like for your first year, you're paying anywhere from like 25 to 30 grand if you're in state, and if you're out of state, you're paying like 40 to 45 grand. So there's definitely a huge price difference, and I think per class it's like $350. So I mean, it's definitely a huge price difference, but I know for me, I get a lot of financial help, so that's how I'm able to go to my school. I know one of the other questions that I got asked was, how do I actually afford my tuition and my living? I get a lot of financial help through my school. I have financial aid. Plus, I'm in some programs for some first-generation students, so they give you grants here and there to help you pay for like your books and for classes as well. So I know my financial help is really nice, but without that, I definitely would not be able to afford a four-year college. So the next question is, do you regret not going to a four-year? And I think this question is kind of more for you.
Yeah, so basically, I don't regret not going to a four-year, but in a way I do, just because I'm missing out on the dorm life. I'm missing out on like creating that bond with a roommate, or like trying to live with somebody else in that way. And like the bigger classes, the community, like just the school community in general, I'm missing out on that. But like financially I'm gonna be good when I do finish school, and I know that that's gonna help me in my future, and that's more important. And I still do have friends that go to school with me, and so I know that I'll be okay. Like, I don't need that kind of social life. So it's hard. I don't regret it though.
So the next question is, what is the best thing about going to a 4-year? So I think the best thing about going to a 4-year is probably just like the campus life or the social aspect of it. Like I said, you can meet so many people if you just put yourself out there, and especially like the first 2 weeks of school, everyone is in the same boat as you, so everyone's just trying to meet new people. Like I said, you can meet people on your floor, in your classes, and there's just people from all over. I have so many friends that are from like California and like different parts of California like me, and then I also have friends who are from the East Coast. I have a friend who's from like Portland, I have a friend who's from New Jersey, I have a couple of friends from New York. So you just have friends and meet people from all over, which is really nice just because everyone comes from different areas, so it's just really cool to meet new people. So next question is, can you still have a college experience if you go to a GC?
Personally, I feel like you still can have a college experience, especially if you're living in a dorm. Like, you still get to have a roommate, you have the commons area where you hang out and you meet people. If you want to be a part of sports, you can be a part of sports. There's clubs, there's all kinds of things you can do, but if you don't put yourself out there and get involved, there isn't a way to really have that college life.
So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Also, comment down below if you guys are going to a 4-year or a JC, and if you guys want to comment what school you guys are going to, then comment that as well, because I'm sure we're interested to kind of know where everyone's going. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you guys in next time's video. Bye guys!
Let me fuck you right.